Spirit guides. Every person has a number of spirit guides or familiar spirits around them. These spirits are there to help us in our lives, especially in dealing with major life lessons. They are also there to advise us if we know how to listen to them. Spirit guides are drawn from among the spirits of people we have known with whom we still have a strong connection. Sometimes these are people we have known in this life, and sometimes they are people we have known in other lifetimes, of which we may or may not have conscious memory. A person may have many spirit guides, but usually one special spirit will be the main guide. This spirit is a companion and guardian throughout life, even if the person has no conscious knowledge of their presence. There are many kinds of spirit guides, some of whom specialize in healing or the development of particular qualities or talents. But it is not necessary to know what a spirit guide specializes in to receive their help. Indeed, it is not even necessary to know they are there to be helped by them. In medieval times, spirit guides were called fairies before that term came to be attached to nature spirits instead. They are also sometimes called guardian angels, but whatever they are called, the concept is always the same, a spiritual guide and helper who eases our journey through life.
Geomancy. Geomancy is the art of reading the Earth's energy and aligning ourselves and our works to take best advantage of it. By aligning to the natural orientation and flow of energy in this manner, we add to the effectiveness of our workings. Geomancy is a very ancient art and has a number of local variations which are still in use. On one level, geomancy deals with the Earth's vortices and ley lines, delineating the energetic character of differing physical locations and the nature of their connection to each other. More commonly, however, the term geomancy is used to refer to interpretation by direction. Geomancy has many uses, including the selection of auspicious locations for structures or events, determining the proper directional alignment of buildings or objects, etc.
Feng Shui, ancient Chinese art of geomancy based on the directions in the Asian system of 5 elements. Feng Shui is used to align the position of buildings, to decorate rooms, and in general to divine the most auspicious place to put things to allow for a free flow of qi, spiritual energy.
Jostle. This term is used to indicate clockwise movement. It literally means southwards from the Gaelic jos, or south. Jostle movement represents the movement of spiritual energy into physical manifestation.
Twathel. This term is used to indicate counterclockwise movement. It literally means northward from the Gaelic twath, or north. The term is commonly replaced with the colloquial widdershins, which is preferred in the Gardnerian tradition.
Altar table. The surface on which an altar is set up. An altar table can be most anything from a patch of ground to a marble pedestal and anything in between. It is generally considered preferable that an altar table be made of wood or stone, or such material as plaster or terracotta for that matter. Metal is usually not used because of the conductivity of its nature, though altar pieces are often of metal, and it is not unusual for an altar table to be decorated with metal ornaments or inlay, or to have a metal frame.
Altar cloth. A cloth placed upon an altar table to enrich or decorate it. Altar cloth originated in a time when all cloth was woven by hand, and embroidered cloth was a status symbol and its use a sign of an important occasion. Altar cloths are often very beautiful and sometimes include a wall hanging behind the altar as well.
Elements. Elements are thought of as the basic building blocks of creation. Different cultures have used different substances to symbolize the elements, and sometimes different numbers of them, and their correspondences vary widely according to location. In the Wiccan religion, they are normally said to be air, fire, water, and earth. All things are said to be made up of these elements in differing proportions. It must be understood that it is not the physical substance that is meant here, but rather the spiritual qualities that they represent. Air represents inspiration, fire, action, water, reaction, and earth, integration. In addition, spirit is said to be the 5th element, of which all the others are manifestations.
Magical tools. In the wider sense, magical tools are any items which are dedicated to use in magic. They are usually highly personal and important to the user. In a more narrow sense, a Wiccan's magical tools are four: the athame or magical blade, the wand, the chalice, and the pentacle. These are the same tools around which the tarot is based and have roots in very ancient practice.
Candle magic. Candle magic is the art of using a candle to focus your energy and intent to bring about a desired result. Usually the candle is lit and focused on for a period of meditation. The candle may then be allowed to burn on until it is consumed, in the belief that its burning is bringing the desired result into manifestation. Or the candle may be extinguished and the ritual repeated at intervals, such as every day for a set number of days. In addition, there are many other ways to use candles in the practice of magic. Always remember that magic is a tool of self-improvement and transformation and should be used with care and for the good of all.
Intent. We do magic by consciously focusing energy. We shape that energy through thought and emotion. The energy takes its direction from the intent we set into that thought and emotion. Intent is your goal or purpose, what you wish to achieve, and it is very important to be clear in intent. When you concentrate upon your intent during a magical working, you are imprinting the energy with your intent so that it will shape itself to bring your intent to pass.
Ancestors. Ancestors are spirits of people who have helped to shape us into who we are. Commonly, these are deceased family members, and it is in this way that the term is primarily used. But ancestors need not necessarily be people to whom we are related by blood. A deceased person who helped us in some important way, or whom we particularly admire, may also be considered an ancestor. Sometimes a historical personage to whom we are drawn, perhaps because of a past life connection of which we may or may not be conscious, will be considered an ancestor. Ancestors are the spirits we honor as being fundamental to the development of our character and to whom we have a strong psychic bond. Often they will act as spirit guides to us, advising and aiding us as we go through life. Ancestors should be acknowledged and honored regularly to strengthen the bond between us and them.
Incense. Incense is an aromatic substance used to scent the air. Incense has many forms, both combustible and non-combustible, but people generally use the term to refer to any of several varieties of combustible incense which are commonly available. These include incense cones, incense sticks, and smudge sticks, all of which are directly lit with an open flame, as from a match or lighter, as well as powdered incense which is burned over a hot charcoal rather than being directly lit itself. The use of incense is very ancient, and in its earliest form it was probably thrown directly on the fire, or used to fuel the fire. Incense is used to raise the vibration of a place, and to lend its own qualities to the energies being raised there. Some of the many different incenses which are commonly used include sage, cleansing and purification, cinnamon, protection and prosperity, rose, love, and sandalwood, psychic opening.
Thurible. A thurible is an incense holder suspended from a chain which can be hung or swung to disseminate the smoke through a given area. They are sometimes extremely richly decorated and are considered the most formal type of incense burner. They are normally used with powdered incense and charcoal, but other methods do exist. The use of the thurible is very ancient, and magnificent historical examples exist.
Libation. A libation is a drink offering made to a deity or spirit. The most universal example is the pouring of a small amount of liquid directly on the earth. Another famous example is the breaking of a champagne bottle on the bow of a ship for her maiden voyage. This is an offering to the spirit of the ship, personified as female, in hopes of safe and successful future voyages. Libations were one of the most popular forms of offering in the ancient world, and their use is richly attested in classical literature. Libations are made as a sign of respect to spirit and out of desire to share and give back to Source, rather than as an offering of sustenance to the Spirit.
Offering. An offering is a gift dedicated to a deity or spirit. Many different terms exist to quantify the type of offering meant. A votive offering, for example, given in fulfillment of a vow. The practice of making offerings is very ancient and must be understood to be symbolic in nature, an act of respect and honor which strengthens the bond between the deity or spirit and the offerer, rather than as giving sustenance to the spirit.
Sympathetic magic. Sympathetic magic is based on the idea of sympathy, that items which have similar qualities can be used to represent each other and can be used to magically affect each other. Thus, because growing plants are green, green is the color of growth and increase. Therefore, burn a green candle to bring prosperity. Because fire brings transformation, changing raw food to cooked, wood and other materials to ash, burning a magical charm on a piece of paper can bring transformation to a situation. In reality, these are keys, or symbolic tools that we use to focus our energy and intent, which is what really makes the change.
Younger self. Younger self is a term which is used to describe the part of the self which is creative, spontaneous, and non-judgmental. Commonly, this part of the self is visualized as a child version of the adult. Younger self is sometimes described as being the place of innocence from which all things are possible. Many people have cut themselves off from this aspect of their persona and neglected it, sometimes as a result of trauma. Such people must make an effort to reconnect with their younger self and give it love and nurturing until it is fully active within them. There are many techniques for doing this, most of which involve symbolically externalizing younger self to show it love. But even if we have not cut ourselves off from our younger self, we should still make a strong effort to stay connected to it and to keep it healthy and active.
Omens. Omens are messages from Spirit delivered in symbolic terms. Omens have been believed in all around the world, in every time and place. They are symbolic and are personal rather than universal in nature. That is to say that an individual or a culture creates a language of symbols which Spirit then uses to communicate with them, so that different symbols will be used in different places. An example of an omen is the famous black cat crossing in front of one, warning of a need to seek and heed inner guidance. Omens are based on the idea that there is no such thing as a chance happening, and that everything that happens reflects the will of Spirit.